So you get up Monday through Friday, you go in for your work, you do the 9 to 5, you work your 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's not necessarily that time, it's different per person, but that's how you generally most people work. The good 40 hours per week, just grinding day in and day out. In my case, I remember going to the warehouse, going to my little station, clocking in, working, go my 15, then work, lunch, then my 15 after working a little bit longer, and then simply clocking out again, going home, being too exhausted to do anything, and then going to bed just to repeat the same thing the next day. Now, if you stay with me, I would like to explain why this little slave hellhole that I think a lot of us have constructed in our heads isn't as bad as we're thinking. Now, I know some of you all might be thinking this cope, but it really isn't. And everything I said, it doesn't have to play out that way. It's actually a good thing that you go through this. It doesn't have to be your whole life, but for just a period in your life to go through it, I think is extremely, extremely important to go through. So, personally, I've been working 9 to 5 jobs since I was, 19. Since I was 19. I remember working at a bowling alley for a hot minute, but then I started working for a warehouse, working about 40 plus hours per week. And now I'm working at the job that I'm at now at a retail for about 40 hours per week. Now, for a long while I used to hate it. I never felt good. I felt too exhausted, and that I would rather be at home rotting. And then over time, I slowly started to enjoy it. I found some kind of enjoyment out of the routine. I noticed for me, it made me a better person. I realized that on my days off or when I wasn't even working, I wasn't doing anything important anyway, and I would just be sitting there watching TV or playing video games, not improving myself. But at least the 9 to 5, while it's grueling sometimes, you're at least building towards something, you're getting something out of it, right? So, some of the benefits of working a good old-fashioned 9 to 5, the one that we all are so used to living around, is that it keeps you productive, right? Instead of just sitting around all day doing literally nothing good with your life, it keeps you doing something very worthwhile. Likewise, when you're doing something that you don't necessarily like, it builds an inner stillness. It helps you build a form of character, something that keeps you going every single day, day to day. You're building towards something. You're learning to grow up, really. You're learning to mature. You're learning to not be a child that's like, oh, I don't want to do this, therefore I can't do it. You're starting to learn how to think with your mind. You're learning to live with what you know is right and what's good. Yeah? Likewise, it develops discipline. In a way, this kind of ties into what I just said, but the discipline that you get from doing this translates very well to like going to the gym, eating better, meditating, writing, reading, doing school stuff, etc., etc., going after your goals. It helps you develop that discipline so that way you can actually accomplish that goal. If you cannot work just a 40-hour work week, I don't think you're going to have a good time with anything else. It's as brain dead, as simple as possible. You go in, you do your thing, you clock out. And if you cannot do that, then you're going to have a hard time doing anything else. Now, I know there's some exceptions to this, but I think if you simply accept that this is how it's going to be for a minute, you will find some rest in it, some ease in it. And again, I know this is contrary advice because you'll go on like TikTok or Instagram where everyone's dogging on 9 to 5s, being like, oh, it's the 9 to 5 slave thing, and they're just trying to sell you some course right? Some drop shipping course. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to give you the real deal. All right, the 9 to 5 can be a freeing experience. It's a quick route to manning up, to being an adult, to being like, you know what, there's this thing I don't like to do, but I'm going to do it anyway because it gets me somewhere. So another benefit is just simply the money. However, and you can see running or like working for a business, you can see how things actually work. You start noticing, like, I remember when I first started working fast foods, the hierarchy, how there's like, you know, the grunt level worker, you know, the level 1 slime, and then there's like the team lead who's in charge of everyone, kind of, and then there's like a person above them, and then there's a manager that manages all the people above that, and then there's the owner. You start seeing the levels of structure, how things work, because I think when you don't understand how business works, you think it's just people like winging it. You might think it's a little more complicated, but this is a general structure that applies to every little thing, everything in life. Any kind of organization, anything that wants to be done is usually organized in a very similar structure, this hierarchical structure. You can look at militaries, right? There's your squad members, then your team leader, then a squad leader, then a platoon leader, and then a battalion commander, right? This hierarchy of grunt, and then person watches over grunts, and then the person that watches over all the grunts, the people that watch over the grunts, etc., etc. So, to recap all this, yeah, you know, I've worked a 9 to 5. No one likes doing the 9 to 5, although it doesn't have to be. I think if you went in with a positive, open attitude, I think if you accept the advice I just gave you, you might actually start to enjoy it, which, in all fairness, it has helped me to enjoy it a little bit more. You can also, you know, you'll slowly start to like it, and there are benefits such as it keeping you doing something. You just go in, you will become a better person by the end of the day, unless you get hit by a truck, but avoid that and you will usually become a better person at the end of the day. So, thank you for listening. If you've gotten some benefits from it, please comment and like and subscribe. Thank you.